Hi guys, this is a video about my workflow and my mods, that how I use my Wi-Fi card and the 70D built-in Wi-Fi to transfer photos, to use as review, check for focus, or to use as a backup device. First I started to use the Wi-Fi card because at that time these cameras didn't have built-in Wi-Fi like the DSLRs today. And from the start I was very frustrated because the method of working was very crude, really bad. I didn't understand how to use properly. I had various problems that I didn't know how to solve, and after a long time I fully understand how it worked now, and then I was able to make it work properly. Even after working, the main problem was the range, because this have a tiny antenna, is very low powered device. This can act as access point or connect to an access point to transfer photos. And the problem was I only have a couple meters out of the camera, and the signal started becoming lower, and after 5-6 meters but basically the signal was too low to transfer. It would have dropouts. So first thing I thought, well, I will start using high power routers, with higher antennas, 3-4 antennas, to make the reception better. So how would I use the Wi-Fi card in the events, in the outside shots that I want to preview on a phone or a tablet, and have a router too? Well, there is portable routers, but they were too big to my taste. The longevity of the battery wasn't that great, so I thought, well, I will just mod myself, add batteries. So I made this. This is one of those portable routers that is to plug on the wall, and I cut it to make very slim, very minimal, to use only the Wi-Fi functions, not LAN, etc. So I can use batteries like this one, lithium-ion batteries, and I have a long runtime. This consumes very little, so I can use batteries like this one. This is a telephone battery in a small holder, so I can use over the camera in the hot shoe very easily, like this. For example, this works to around 12 hours with no problem. So I found a way to bridge within the phone or notebook or whatever to make the range very good. You can use any kind of portable router. Being near the card is enough, so we can bridge the connection between phone or a computer and the card to the card, so it works well. On larger events, like I do in weddings, for example, I need a very long range, and this doesn't work for that big distance. So what I thought, well, we get a better router, because routers have client mode, so they can connect to this router and bridge the connection also. But still, they weren't power enough, I thought at the time. But the problem was the antenna. Most of routers use this kind of antenna keys. They are omnidirectional antenna. The signal of them, the receive and send signal, is almost like a ball around. So they lose power very quickly with distance. They are like a candle, Even bigger one, like this one, is also not so good, because this one is have a higher gain. But what is gain? Gain is directional gain. This antenna, it flattens the ball, let's say, a bit to work like a donut, so it amplifies the horizontal range and reduces the vertical. But even then is not power enough. Then I get this kind of antenna, so I went with a better one. This kind is a panel antenna. What it does is have a higher directional gain. What it do, the gain like this is like a balloon on the front, like this. So it sends and receives signals in this narrow range, which is much better for me, because I always put a projector or a TV on a corner or near the corner, so I can have a good range over the entire middle and corners, even corners of the event. So I can barely go away, so basically can go anywhere and still have a good range. The fact that it concentrates the power in a small area, small opening, makes it very powerful. So I can use to more than 50 meters. This is like 160 feet with signal in good or best, without even dropping. I think you can go at 80 meters without problems. So this fixed the long range problem. I still use the router in the middle, the Wi-Fi connect to the router, and this connect to the router. So I have a perfect connection between them, and that works wonderfully. And then my problem was solved. Then came the 70D, which have built-in Wi-Fi, and I thought, well, my problems are solved. Don't need the Wi-Fi card anymore. I can work with the built-in Wi-Fi. Like everything was hard at the beginning. I didn't understand exactly how they work until recently, after a lot of tries. And then, well, I thought this must have a better antenna, better power for transmitting and receiving. So I tried this one with my antenna and worked it. But I needed to make this one an access point, because this one can be access point but work with phones. But even then, that doesn't work properly. So this need to use the mod where it connects to a router. And to make this one a router, it was possible because the software can make this, but was very limited, didn't have the options that I needed. So what I thought, well, I will modify a router to work with this antenna, because that will be perfect. So what I did was, I get the same router that I modified to do this, and I put inside here inside in this part, and also let the LAN ports here to connect to a notebook, etc. So I put the router inside. I make them work with batteries like everything else I do here, and now I have a very powerful router that also acts as a client. It can connect to routers, so I also can use with the Wi-Fi router that I use on the camera. It can be a router or connect to a router. Yeah, I mean an access point. So I can use this with a notebook, for example, to project on TV or use a projector with the Wi-Fi and with 70D. And this make the range amazingly good. Since I started to use it, I never had a drop in connection or was low enough to slow down the transfer of photos. This one, I use a battery here, like this one. So this kind of battery makes around 24 hours of runtime. Just connect here, and it's good to go. I also can connect here with a USB cable if I don't want to run on batteries, but they last so long that was easy to run batteries. And I can put this wherever I want, because I can use very long LAN cables. I can put up to 50 meters if I want. I can put this in a various spots to have a good reception in any place on the events, because I do sometimes very big events, and became very useful. And using a router with this kind of antenna would not work at all at big distance. So to have a long range, this kind of antenna is a must. The other problematic parts was the software on these both methods. The Wi-Fi worked sometimes, and then sometimes didn't work, and I didn't know why. And later I discovered that the server that I put, for example, on the PC, when I connected the phone, it only sets to receive on the phone, and then the server on the PC are updated the configuration. from the Wi-Fi servers, and then I stopped to receive on the computer, so I couldn't have both. And to change, I would have to need internet, which on those events I didn't have, so it was really bad to work. So I couldn't choose where to send the photos. So I modified the server from the PC so it would not connect to the internet, and update settings so I can have both working together. No, go one to another without changing anything. The other part was how to make the photos full screen as soon as they're received. I modified a free program that monitor folder, so as soon as a photo is arrived, it shows full screen. On the Android phones, I didn't need this code because the Wi-Fi program do this on its own. On the computer also, this program I modified to have a delay between photos, because sometimes I shoot multiples at the same time, multiple photos at the same time, and it would show 4 or 5, one over the other, too much fast. So I put a delay, so even sending multiple photos, it shows with 1.5 second delay between them, which make much easier, much nicer. Because sometimes you can take various photos and you only see the last one, because the first ones got to arrive too quickly. So you can see them individually, even shooting burst mode. The 70D software was also very problematic. The first time I tried to use, it didn't work at all. It didn't find the camera. I couldn't connect. Then I discovered that it only worked. It only find the camera when I use 2 of my 4 routers. I mean, half of them didn't work, didn't find a camera. Apparently it used a UPnP connection, and even routers that have this functionality didn't work. So what I did was I updated my routers to use DDWRT. It's open source software firmware, I believe, to the routers. So I updated everything with DDWRT, and everything since then worked fine. So if you're gonna buy a router to work with 70D mainly, or any other Canon camera with Wi-Fi, it's very good if you buy one of those that can have the DDWRT. You can find the list on the site. So I was able to connect and then properly work with my camera. Now on the phone was a bit trickier, because the software for Canon was horrible. But there is the DSLR controller app that makes everything works great. You can show pictures in full screen instantly after shot, and also can able to download photos from the camera, or select and download, or select all and download like just JPEGs, because I only shot RAW, but I shot RAW with small JPEG to transfer, so it makes them smaller and faster to transfer. Don't need to use large JPEG, but you can use large JPEG to act like a backup, can transfer to phone or to the PC and have those photos as backup and the RAWs in the card. Here you can see a speed sample of the Wi-Fi from 70D to my router. He's in access point mode, so the camera will connect to him, and it's connected to the notebook via LAN cable. On the notebook is running my monitoring program, so instantly will show full screen photo. Now I'll take a burst to see, and have a delay between them, even if the computer receives them almost instantly. Now I change the router to client mode. Now it connects to the portable router on the camera. I put it over my 50D, and let's see the speed now. See, the Wi-Fi is a bit slower, but works fine. Also, the Wi-Fi has the good part of always sending all the photos, even if you shoot a lot without connected. When you connect, it transfer all. the 70D, it only transfers the when you are connected. You don't transfer the one you took before connecting. One last thing that I forgot is I made this holder for use a phone on a tripod, and I use a program called Gpad that can send keystrokes to the computer. So I can put this on a small tripod like this, or fix on something with a clamp, so people can use this to change the photos on the TV or projector, so they can see the pictures of themselves easily in the middle of the bunch. I also made a small keyboard for the same purpose, so it's easier for people to see the photos of themselves. And that's it, guys. Any questions? Please leave a comment.